Hi, everybody. Welcome to A Pretty Good Day. I'm your host, Jared Petty. Before Alanah comes on, a couple of things to go through. First, I want to thank our Patreon producers, Nick Rie and Robert Nieder, whose generous support makes this show possible. A lot of you have chosen to give to us on Patreon. It's how we're funded, and it means the world to me that you're so generous. Money ain't easy to come by, and the fact that you choose to support us in that particularly beneficial way, well, my gratitude is not lost on that fact. So thank you for your generosity. For all of you who subscribe, who take part in the Facebook group, who listen every week, who write to me, I receive so many encouraging messages over the last month. You can't know how much I needed them. And there were days where words from y'all absolutely changed the course of what was happening for me, changed the way I was thinking. Encouragement, especially genuine encouragement, like I've received from so many of you, is one of life's great and precious gifts. And I wanted to express my gratitude to you for that. Additionally, a little piece of mail I wanted to read to you. We get stories every now and then, and we'll share them. But this is one that stood out. It's actually related to one of our Patreon exclusive episodes. I talk about Patreon a lot because, need money. But we do give quite a bit of stuff out as backer rewards on Patreon, including several different kinds of exclusive or early episode. First, we have our monthly Patreon exclusives. We also have single servings, which are kind of shorter behind-the-scenes audio episodes. Then we have early access to A Pretty Good Day. And, of course, Pizza and Dinosaurs presents The Thirst of Laser Dracula, which is our kind of interactive storytelling show. Lots there behind that. But on this month's Patreon exclusive, we talked about amusement parks, and somebody wrote back about that. When my wife and I were in high school, when my wife and I were going steady in high school, back in 1966, we had not done the deed yet, and I took her to this old local amusement park in San Antonio called Playland Park. Love old local amusement parks. I took her on the Rocket roller coaster, a very large vintage wooden roller coaster. It was very loud and very scary. It scared her so badly that she did not have her period for 2 months. She told me this and asked me if she could be pregnant. And I remember telling her, if you're pregnant, you better light some candles because 3 wise men are coming from the east. We both laughed so hard at Easter fears, and her period finally started the night of that conversation. That's an unusual story. I like unusual stories. I like stories that are so strange they must be true. So thank you so much for writing in and sharing that one with us. Thanks to all of you who have written in and shared your stories with me. Well, we're getting ready to start A Pretty Good Day episode 2, which is funny. We've done several Pretty Good Days, but they were kind of in a beta period now. We're going to roll one of these out every now and then. You can get early access to the audio versions on Patreon, but we're going to start rolling these out as part of the weekly rotation. If you're not familiar with A Pretty Good Day, it's a part of Pockets Full of Soup. Pockets Full of Soup presents, but a little different focus. Instead of telling the stories of the people or places or things that we're thankful for, it's a storytelling show about the days in our lives that we just can't help but remember, the ones that stand out, those moments that make all the rest of them worth getting through. And that's what we're going to talk about this week with my friend Alanah. Sometimes I'm going to do these by myself because some of you have requested I do that. You like the kind of straight-to-the-camera storytelling. But this month, Alanah's going to share hers. I invite you and encourage you to send me your stories. I'd love to know the stories of your good days. I also want to invite you to become a part of our Facebook group. If you're willing to do that, I'd really appreciate it. It doesn't cost anything. And it's a nice community of people constantly sharing things. Lately, people have taken to sharing endeavors that they're trying, projects, podcasts, things like that. And it's a lot of fun going through and seeing what folks are doing, giving feedback and encouraging there. But I like to hop in and say hi every now and then, catch people up on what's happening in my life. Well, anyway, I think I've babbled on long enough here. So why don't we get to the part of the show with the interesting guest. I am so grateful to you for sticking with us through these last months. And I hope, if you have the opportunity, that you'll seek out a friend and share this show with them. I'm looking forward to what's coming soon But what's happening right now is also exciting. And I want to thank you for coming along for this whole ride. So without further ado, let's find out about Alanah Pearce's Pretty Good Day. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to A Pretty Good Day, Episode 2. I'm your host, Jared Petty, joined by the extravagant, the illustrious Alanah Pearce.
Hi.
Hi. Alanah, you are a Charalara Zigazongadard. What's that? That's how you say it, right? Yeah. You have the YouTube channel for
do.
How does one say this?
It's Charalanazard. It's Alanah in the middle of the word Charizard.
Yeah, it's really not that difficult at all, but I love to make it difficult.
It's difficult spelling.
Yeah. So we are here together on Max Scoville's couch.
Yeah,
I think this is Max's couch, right?
Yeah.
Not, or is this your couch?
No, this is Max's couch.
Max's couch.
Yeah.
That's his cat up there. His dog's wandering around here somewhere.
Yeah.
His strange, I think Marty Sleva is wandering off
Marty's around.
over there in the dark.
There's a Boba Fett cutout over there.
Boba Fett over there.
Yep.
But we're most interested not in these distractions, but rather in you and the story of a pretty good day in your life.
Okay.
Thank you for coming back and doing this.
Happy to be here.
One of my all-time favorite Pockets episodes.
Thank you.
When we were very first starting the show, you came on and just knocked it out of the park.
Thanks, man.
It made me so happy. And also did a Patreon exclusive once, which was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, I had a good time with that. So now, I want to ask you about this day. Just tell us a little bit about a day that meant a lot to you.
You know, it's really hard to pick a very good day, right? I've had a few good days.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm tossing up between two.
Okay, you're tossing up between two. So I need it's time to commit. It's time to commit.
Can I tell you both and then you pick?
What is that?
Yes, that's what's happening.
Wow.
Okay, one.
Curveball thrown in.
One is the first time I moved to the US, the first day that I saw my mom after having moved countries again. I saw her in LA airport, and I think we had gone 6 months without seeing each other for the first time ever.
Okay.
The second is also in the US, so both pretty recent because it's easy to remember.
Wow.
Is when I, on a total whim, I had a really bad week and basically flew myself to Alaska to travel by myself. I went dog sledding and went and saw the Northern Lights.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're just like, hey, I think I'm going to go dog sledding in Alaska this weekend?
Yeah, I made a lot more money back then.
Okay.
So I just flew to Alaska and had an amazing time.
Wow. Those are both extraordinary. I'm surprised they're both in America. You're Australian, and you've lived here in the United States for about 4 years?
Yeah, 3 years now.
For 3 years
I've had great days, but obviously these are fresher, you know?
These are fresher.
Yeah.
You're going with that. Wow. Are you really going to make me pick?
Yes.
Okay, dog sled. I'm sorry, because I care very
mom.
much. No, moms are great. I love moms, and moms are full of sentiment and joy, and your mom in particular, from what you told me about her.
She's pretty fantastic.
Pretty fantastic. But I'm sorry, I've always wanted to go to Alaska, and I've never been.
It's my favorite place that I've ever been.
And I saw that one movie about the sled dogs that talked, and it wasn't very good.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
But you've seen that movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so I built a dog sled once. That's another weird story.
Ooh, cool.
But let's hear about the sled dog weekend. So you said you were having a craptastic week or something?
Yeah, it was actually kind of, so I was studying at the time. I basically moved to the US. I got a university transfer to San Jose University with the intention of getting a job in games media in the US.
Okay.
That was a long orchestrated plan.
Worked out.
It worked out great. I'm now full-time at IGN. So that was what I intended to do, and I did it. And that was really the only way that I could easily get into the country and network with people. So it was around the same time as GDC and PAX East, which were two conventions I was going to, but I also had finals. So it was just this incredibly hectic, stressful time where I really had to toss up between which was more important, that career motivation and what I was really working towards, and my grades, which were the only thing that were effectively funding me to keep living where I was, because scholarships and rent were paid based on what my grades were.
Okay.
So it was hell. I was really, really stressed. And I think I ended up doing all of it and survived, but, tore my hair out in the process. It was hard.
Yeah. Were you sleeping?
Oh, no, not really at all.
Not really at all? So when you felt those two kind of different things tugging at you, which one ultimately won out?
I actually think what I ended up doing was doing the least possible work I could for university to still get the grades that I needed and figuring out what that was. And the work commitments won.
If you were to give one piece of advice to people that are getting ready to enter college or just starting college based on your experience going through university, what do you got for them?
I think that I personally, and obviously this is really different for everyone, felt like I wasted my time studying. There are totally valuable things that I learned, but because I started writing about games and writing as a freelancer before I started studying, and it was just a skill that I wanted to add, I really feel like I would be further in my career now if I had not spent so much time filling out papers that are kind of unnecessary to the industry that I'm in.
What's the most notorious unnecessary thing you remember writing? Something that just stands out in your mind. You're like, why did I do this? And I guess that's kind of a difficult question, I realize, because...
No, it's easy. I had to make a Tumblr blog. They made me make a blog for one of my subjects where I had to write just like little blogs about movies I was seeing at the time or something like that and get graded on it. And that just felt insane to me. It was
what was it about it that bugged you?
I think the fact that I'd been doing it for years before that, actually. It was like, can I just give you my actual blog? They're like, no, you have to start a new one.
You have to start a new one. You can't just show the one you did before.
Yeah.
That does seem kind of silly, actually. No leniency for that. Huh?
No, it was pretty insane.
So what did you write about on your artificial Tumblr blog?
Okay, so I actually found a way to make it cool.
Okay.
I decided to write about the different kinds of Asian pop.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what are some of the different kinds of Asian pop?
Like K-pop, J-pop.
Okay.
So I basically wrote about how pop stars are treated differently in these different countries and the different sounds and influences. So like I made it interesting for myself, but at the same time, it was like I could literally write whatever I wanted.
What's something the person on the street might not know about different kinds of Asian pop?
I want to say in China specifically that a lot of their pop artists are totally fabricated and kind of bought out. So they like cancel certain, basically their version of American Idol. They decided that the people who were on that show were becoming too influential and thus too powerful, so they canceled the show.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's amazing. That was like a government decision?
Yep.
Wow, no, I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
fascinating.
crazy. Yeah.
So, getting back to college, I'll take you down a lot of tangent roads here. Please forgive me. Things are going awful. You're tired. You described tearing your hair out.
I hated it, yeah.
Okay, so your solution is go to Alaska.
Yes.
How do you make that leap?
Because I was also working at the time, right? So I was hosting a show that I could do remotely. So I was recording it myself, but it was still very demanding. It was full time, but I was making a lot of money. So I had kind of a checklist when I moved to the US of places that I really wanted to visit whenever I had spare time. And actually a friend I was living with in this international house, it was called, there were just, I think, some 70 international students, people from different countries, which was actually awesome. That was probably the best part of studying. That was a really cool experience.
So you're living there at San Jose, is San Jose State or?
Yeah, it was San Jose State that I attended, but I was kind of offsite.
But you're living offsite at the university, like at a international house.
Yeah.
What's an international house like for people who haven't lived there before?
I think it's maybe campus funded. I'm not actually sure.
Okay.
But it is literally a very, very big dorm that is solely available for international students to live in.
Wow. So it's anybody from outside the United States can come live here.
We did actually have a few people from the US, so I guess that they have a caveat that if they help and like do things around the house, then they're allowed to stay there as well.
Okay.
But they have to go through a pretty strict application process, and they have a limit on how many American students are allowed. But yeah, we had, I think, 30 countries or something.
So you met some pretty amazing people.
Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, and there's people that I still talk to who live in Germany and Amsterdam and Japan.
So you live in an international house, but you decided you'd always wanted to go to Alaska?
Yeah.
Why Alaska? What was the appeal of Alaska? As an Australian, what about Alaska drew you?
Absolutely the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
But the reason that relates to the international house is that I met someone who had traveled and been to Alaska just before they got to the house.
Okay.
So he had all of these incredible photos of the Northern Lights, the dog sledding, all of that stuff that I was like, I'm so sold on this trip.
I'm doing what you did.
Yeah, I want to reward myself for how hard I've just worked. I also really want to break from people and this environment, which, when you live in a house that also has people studying constantly, it kind of has that vibe that you never really feel like you have free time.
Okay.
You always feel some kind of work is tied to that environment.
Yeah, there's pressure all around you.
Yeah.
I remember, finals week in college. It's just sort of it's like the air hissing out of a balloon, just deflating. And even when you're done with yours, you can just feel it happening all around you. People just at the edge of complete physical and mental exhaustion, slowly losing their minds, trying to cram, it's
intense.
awful. It is. It's very. So you decide to go to Alaska. What is the Alaska of Australia? Do you guys have one?
Probably Tasmania.
Tasmania,
Yeah.
because it's the island off by itself.
Yep.
Right? Okay. So for folks, most Americans, I think, have heard of Tasmania, but outside of Looney Tunes characters, know very little about it.
Tasmania
Have you been to Tasmania?
I haven't. No, I wish that I had. But it's, I think, one of the least populated parts of the country, and is sort of an island by itself. The only significant island, the one that shows up on the map, basically. And I think they actually do have the Aurora Borealis visible from Tasmania at some points in time.
Is it also the Aurora Borealis when you're in the southern hemisphere?
I don't know.
Because I think Aurora Borealis, that's like the northern lights. I don't know, what do they call this? Are there southern lights?
I assume yes.
Yeah?
I don't actually know. But
Oh, okay.
I mean, similar effect in the sky, basically. I think
wow.
can be visible from Tasmania sometimes.
I did not know that, by the way. Another person has emerged from the base. There are just all kinds of. It's amazing that the life forms that dwell
There's
in
several
this home.
people in this house.
Yeah, there are all kinds of people in this house right now. This is extraordinary. But they keep emerging for different nooks and crannies.
True.
It's kind of fantastic.
They're endless.
I'm really just waiting for Max to poke out of that dresser over
Yeah,
there.
he
Just
could.
like hi everybody. All right. He's so tall.
He is.
He's a tall man. Alaska.
Yes.
So you go and you just spontaneously buy a ticket, or do you plan this ahead of time?
I planned it about a week in advance.
Okay.
As the reward for finishing everything, right?
Okay.
So I booked my flight.
Where'd you fly into?
I completely forgot that there was also a thing where the first time that I booked the flight, I had an exam that changed time. So my exam showed up when I had booked the flight, and I had to end up changing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like that happened as well. I had to change my flight, which cost me a ton of money because it was really last minute because of an exam. So I flew into Anchorage.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it was still beautiful and snowy, and I was kind of on the tail end of an ice sculpting festival.
Oh, wow.
Which was both amazing and kind of funny because they were melting, so some of the things just looked horrific.
Just like, roar!
Yeah, there was like a really terrifying dolphin.
Kind of like grotesques on
little.
beautiful art that had obviously been just melted away by a nuclear bomb going off nearby or something. It sounds kind of amazing.
Yeah.
That's almost better.
Well, I was very entertained. But
Yeah.
it was all very pretty, and that was like a park was sectioned off just to show off all these.
So you
ice
land in
sculptures.
Anchorage. What's your first impression of Anchorage? Is it just like, this sure is a northern city, or like you get out, is it cold?
Oh, it was freezing.
Yeah.
That was, I guess, probably the most north I've ever been in my life,
Okay.
actually.
So had you experienced cold like that before?
Not quite like that.
Were you dressed for it?
Yes.
Okay.
I did
Oh,
come prepared. I
prepped
rented
up.
snow gear, and I
Okay.
had thermals and everything. I was prepared.
Okay,
I
so
still
you
have
go-
my snow boots that I bought for that.
Okay, so you step out into Anchorage, day or night.
It was nighttime when I arrived.
So you're like, where are the lights? Does it start like that? Like, or
You can see lights in the cities.
yeah,
but,
really? I didn't know that actually.
Sometimes, very rarely. But I did book a bus trip to go to see the lights specifically. And because they show up at really late at night, we didn't leave until around 4 p.m. and then drove the whole way to the Northern Circle.
Is this the same day you get off the plane?
This is the next day.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so you
So
go,
I hung
you
out in
crash,
Anchorage, just slept,
you just, did you know anybody there?
No.
So you just wander and see anybody? What'd you do your first night there? Just go and go to bed?
I slept. Yeah,
Just
I
go
was
to
super
bed?
tired that day, so
Okay,
I
so
just
you
went to bed.
Do you get up and you find the bus? Is it when I'm trying to imagine an Alaskan Northern Light tour bus? What is that like?
Very small. They came and picked me up.
Okay.
And we had a tour guide who the whole way just pointed out a lot of really cool things about Alaska. Would stop to try and see moose wherever we could.
Did you see moose?
Yeah, plenty. Yeah,
Wow.
along the sides of the roads. There are also loads of houses that we passed that were just kind of in the woods that he would be like, yeah, don't go there. You will get shot.
Okay.
Yeah, so apparently people there can be very protective of their property.
And they're like, just don't go that way or somebody may shoot you.
Yes.
Now, in Australia, firearms exist, but not really widespread now, right?
Well, I would just say that we have strict gun control.
Okay. So had you ever contemplated anyone shooting at you for walking up to their house before?
No.
What were your thoughts on the matter?
I think my first thought was, I'm really in a different country. I don't think I was scared. I think that I just reacted that in a way that was like, this sure is different.
Yeah. Now, you'd been living in California for a while.
Yeah.
And then you come to Alaska. Obviously, Australia, immense place. A lot of breadth and diversity in Australia. When you contrasted California to Alaska, were you surprised by how different it was? Or were you pretty much ready for that?
I mean, I don't think that I even would have thought to compare the two because they are so vastly different in every way. But there are some things that when traveling in the US that surprised me, which are the things that wouldn't occur to you. And I remember
Like what?
being on planes in the US, looking out the window. I have this vlog from where I first moved here on my YouTube channel, and this is stuff that I'm used to now, but I said, when you look out the window, everything, there are just so many mountains, and they look like they're silver. And I think that still stands, that there are silvery looking mountains. Whereas when you fly over Australia, it's green and flat for the most part. It's a lot of water.
Kind of green, flat, straight down?
Yep.
Really? I just see that's not what I would have thought of when I thought of Australia.
It just looks so different. But obviously, the places you fly most in Australia are all on one coast and kind of in a straight line.
Okay.
So that's different too. But from the sky, just they look so different.
Did you know mountains were silver before you came here?
No.
Fascinating.
I don't know why they're silver.
Yeah?
I still don't understand that. Like, was it snow? Like, what makes the mountain silver?
If you know what makes the mountain silver, let us know.
Let us know.
Pocketsfullofzoop.com. Beyond that, anything else? Any other surprises, things you don't think of when you travel? Differences?
Oh, there's definitely words. I actually have 2 videos on my YouTube channel about that. Words that I didn't even know were different until I said them. And one of them that really threw me off recently was a housemate asked if I could buy her gummy candy.
Oh, yeah, gummy, sure.
I had no idea what that meant.
What a gummy meant. Oh, wow.
Well,
what was your mental image?
Okay, so I know I relate gummy to gummy bears. So
Okay.
I knew that was like a kind of thing.
Okay.
Candy in Australia tends to specifically be a sweet, which we actually refer to as lolly, which is hard. So when someone asked me for a gummy candy, I thought that she was saying something that was hard on the outside but really gummy on the inside.
So candy in Australia is hard. Oh, that's fascinating. So it wasn't gummy that was odd. So this is it
was the combination of gummy and candy.
Contrast.
Yeah, I was
that's
super
lovely.
confused.
I would never have thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a million years. By the way, that YouTube channel, if people want to check it out.
Is youtube.com/CharaLanahZard.
There we are. Alanah Pearce. Back to Anchorage. So moose on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Houses full of people with guns. And then 4 p.m. driving northward. When's it get dark?
I don't remember what time it got dark, but I remember the most beautiful sunset that I've ever seen.
Really? What made it so striking?
I took a photo of it. The whole trip was just so gorgeous, but there were just so many colors, and we would look off into the distance into nothing but trees that were covered in snow. So just that beautiful peppered white. And the sky was basically just bright pink and blue. And I feel like that's by virtue of being so far away from everything. But air pollution is just really not half as much of a thing up there as well. So it was really clear. It was just a gorgeous sunset. And in every part of this trip, I was freezing cold, but didn't care because it was so pretty.
Wow, just grabbed by the beauty of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's extraordinary. Did you make any friends on your trip up?
They're not people I've kept in contact with, but yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone I met there was lovely, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only person that gave me a bad impression was another Australian. That's it. Everyone else was great.
Everybody but the one other Australian. That's funny. Hopefully they didn't confuse the two of you.
No, very different. Yes.
Okay. So you make your way north. You see this beautiful sunset. And does the Borealis appear?
No. Gotta wait until it's dark.
Okay.
So we drive out to the Northern Circle.
Yeah.
I get a certificate signed that says that I've been in the Northern Circle, which not many people have, I suppose. And
is there like a Northern Circle certificate station?
They had them on the tour bus. But, I mean, when we got there was a sign saying that we had made it to the Northern Circle.
Wow. Okay.
Or the Arctic Circle.
That's rad. Yeah. The Arctic Circle.
Yeah, which was really cool. I step outside, and I should mention I have really bad asthma. I mentioned this when I was on the previous episode. And it's minus 40 degrees. That's very cold.
Yeah. Is this Fahrenheit or Celsius, you think?
I mean, they're pretty close at that point, actually.
Right.
So
close. It doesn't matter. Just too
minus
cold.
40-ish.
Too cold for anything.
It was freezing. And that basically means that I was just punched in the chest with asthma. As soon as that van door opened, I immediately got asthma.
Were you prepared for it?
No. I had no idea that would be a thing. Change of temperature has always kind of triggered my asthma, but never that intensely have I gotten asthma so quickly. It usually starts slowly and builds up. But literally just punched in the chest with asthma. Still didn't care. I looked up and we had what was called a wolf moon, which is where there's the moon and then around the moon there's like an extra ring.
Okay.
I still don't really know what that is. But it's called a wolf moon. And that in itself was amazing. But because I only brought my iPhone, I couldn't get any photos of that. which is probably one of my biggest regrets about this whole trip.
Because you didn't get that picture.
Did not get a picture of that cool wolf moon.
Sorry.
So then we wait for about half an hour. They keep us in the van. They say, yeah, sometimes the Aurora Borealis takes a while. Sometimes it won't show up. There's no guarantee that it would have shown up the whole time. And I started to fall asleep on my seat in the van when the tour driver woke us up and said it's finally here and took us outside. And it started as just this one line through the middle of the sky, which was a kind of like grayish green.
Okay.
And then I guess over the course of probably 15 minutes became this full night sky lit up in green. And the colors vary depending on basically what's happening in the atmosphere, but we had green and yellow. They can be purple and red as well.
But you got green and yellow.
Green and yellow. And
is it bright?
No, it's really bright. It lights up everything. And it's also the most fascinating part about that for me was that you would expect it to be kind of still. It moves constantly. It's like a river. 1 second it'll be vertical, then it'll be horizontal. It moves all over the place.
Didn't know it did
it's
that.
Aggressive in movement. It moves constantly. It never stays still. So it's just every single second you spend watching it is going to be different from every other second you spend watching it.
If you're going to give me one adjective to describe the experience of watching it.
I mean, I would say awesome, but that word is so overused that it loses its effect. But I was literally in awe of what I was looking at.
That's fantastic. So you're just standing there seeing a wonder of nature.
Standing there, not being able to breathe.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely could have killed myself in that setting. Freezing to the extent where it burnt my face. And I had little bits of frost on my eyelashes. It was incredibly cold, but I did not care.
Extraordinary. Well, that's a heck of a memory. But it doesn't end there because apparently there were also sled dogs.
Yeah, that was also the next day. I'm kind of putting this whole one perfect day into like 3 days.
That's okay.
Yes.
We're gonna do all right here. So the next day you roll over and wake up and where are you? Back at the hotel, or did you stay up north?
I went back to the hotel.
Okay.
There's nowhere to stay up there.
Okay.
Not that I saw, at least.
All right, so you're back in
we go back
Anchorage.
to the hotel. I think I had a train trip at some point during this, and I think the train trip may have been to the area where I went dog sledding.
Okay.
So this train trip was beautiful in that it was just through the Alaskan countryside, basically, and it was snowing the whole time. So
you're kind of stretching the whole very, very, or pretty good day aesthetic here.
It's into 3 days.
Days are different in Alaska.
Well, I mean,
or Australia.
The day that I count as the very good day is the Aurora Borealis day.
Exactly.
That's the good day.
Time in Alaska, 72-hour day. She didn't know
There you go.
that.
It's very dark.
It's why that international date line exists.
Exactly.
All right. So, sled dogs.
Yes. So I get on this train, which just is the most scenic, beautiful thing that I've ever seen. There's mountains everywhere the whole time. And then, we get on a bus. We go to beat these sled dogs. So we get out of this van, and there are these dogs just barking in the yard because they all just apparently just love people, and they know that when people arrive, it means that some of them are going to go sledding.
And they're like, all right, sledding time.
Crazy excited. Also very cute. A lot of them, they wear socks so that their feet don't get cold.
They wear dog socks?
Yeah. So they each have their own little houses, and they wear dog socks, and it's super cute. They all bark at you very happily, and they're really happy that you're there.
I didn't know they wore dog socks.
Dog socks. And so we started by being introduced to a new litter of puppies, Alaskan Huskies.
Okay. Which,
I mean, obviously also naturally the best day ever is every day I've ever encountered a puppy.
Yeah.
And then kind of get to meet your team of sled dogs. And they introduce you to the dogs one by one. You can pat them, and then they put you on the sled, and you just sit in it, and these dogs just go for a run.
Do you remember any of the dogs' names?
I actually don't. I feel like the leading lady might have been Daisy, actually.
Daisy.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite fictional dog? And who's a fictional dog you love?
I have a fondness for dog meat because of nostalgia.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Also Lupus from Jet Force Gemini.
Oh, so look at.
That's a good dog.
You're the best.
Thank you.
No problem there at all. There's a lot of great dogs out there. I do think that dog from Up that's like, I hid under the porch
that dog
because
is
I
great.
love you. Like,
yeah,
I love him so
that's
much.
a good dog.
That's a good dog.
They're all good dogs, Brent.
They are good dogs.
Good dogs,
then
Brent.
the dogs pull, and you're on the sled, and the dogs take. Is there like a co-driver or anything, or is just?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
I was sitting, and there's a guy behind me who is basically directing the dogs.
Okay.
But I mean,
Meanwhile, you are queen of the sled.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there being chased around by these incredibly happy dogs.
Yeah.
So there is one thing they don't tell you about dog sledding, which is that the dogs poop while they run.
Okay.
They don't stop. So some people can get hit by poop.
Oh.
That did not happen to me.
That did not happen to
get
you,
hit
but
by
you
poop.
can get struck by
That is a thing. Because they just keep running. They don't stop.
I'm trying to imagine what that's like. Not being struck by the feces, but what it's like to poop while running. Never really done that.
That's a very good question.
Yeah, I don't think I want to find out.
I mean, horses don't even... What do they?
I don't know.
Maybe they do.
I try to know as little of horses as I can because they terrify me and they're mean.
But do they poop while running?
I mean, I just don't know. I don't know much about that. I
have no idea.
Very little about animal poop, to tell you the truth. And I'm kind of proud of that. But I do wonder what it's like to poop while running. Do you have any stories about pooping while running? No.
Let us know.
Please don't. Please don't. So, Alanah, you don't get pooped on. What's the experience of riding in a dog sled like sans poop?
Okay, so we're in this just beautiful open field that has forestry everywhere and a few houses on the hillsides, but for the most part is just an expanse of white, which just the snow, just everywhere. And I'm someone who, I've been skiing and snowboarding in Australia and in New Zealand, but I have never seen as much snow as I saw in Alaska. Yeah. And it was such a beautiful environment. But it's also like, added to having these crazy excited dogs in front of you that when you get on the sled, they have to really calm them down because they want to run so bad. They're like, all right, you're not allowed to leave yet. And these dogs just want to run so badly. It's just like, it's fast. There's wind in your hair. It was beautiful.
Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. You ran with sled dogs. You saw the Aurora Borealis above the Arctic Circle. You were having a crappy, stressful time, and your answer to it was to go to a place in America that most Americans will never visit. Mm-hmm. You made it happen. You did that. Did it do what you wanted it to?
I don't remember being stressed after that point. So I think yes.
Yeah.
In that I still remember that trip and that day where I saw the Northern Lights as one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen. And since then, every time someone asks me my favorite place in the US, it's always Alaska. And every time I talk to someone about it, I tell them to go there. If you haven't been to Alaska, go to Alaska.
Got to go to Alaska.
It's just so beautiful. I want to go back in the summer at some point too.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to. You can go like kayaking. I don't know if that's the right word, but basically you can see the glaciers while they're falling.
Wow.
And it's supposed to just be this incredible thunderous sound that...
But don't pet the Kodiak bears.
We didn't see any bears.
Yeah, don't pet them.
Don't do that.
That's over here. Yeah. They don't like that.
No bears.
Still, seeing the glaciers...
Apparently the moose are pretty brutal too.
Yeah, I've heard moose can't really be tamed. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've heard, which I kind of like that idea.
Moose can't be tamed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I like the idea. It's like, okay, fine.
It sounds like a good punk band.
Moose can't be tamed.
Yeah.
It does. Absolutely. My punk band name that I don't sing or play an instrument, but my imaginary punk band name is Nurse Ratchet.
That's good too.
That's what I want.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's good.
Yeah, that's what be in my band, definitely. You are a remarkably introspective person. I'm very privileged to know you. You're very thoughtful. You think about things and you come back with thoughts about them. What are your thoughts on stockpiling memories, Alanah? Going and making memories.
I mean, do it?
Do you think, do you do it intentionally? Is it something, do you do things to experience them then and then go back to them in the mind's eye? Or is it more just a matter of what the moment is and then it happens to become a memory later on?
It's a very good question. No, I think I do it because I want to experience it. I don't think I look at things as wanting to do it for the memory.
Yeah.
And I would say that I look at traveling as I want to look at this place, not I want to cross this place off of my list, or this is a thing I need to accomplish before I die.
Okay.
So I'm going to Gamescom this year, almost definitely, and I was thinking of extending my trip because I've always wanted to go to Belgium, and it's around my birthday. So I'm thinking about going to Belgium for a couple of days around my birthday.
That sounds great!
Yeah. It's also, I'm turning 24 this year, and it's on the 24th.
Oh,
so it's my golden birthday. Naturally, I should spend it in Belgium.
Yeah, absolutely. Belgium, well known for its...
Chocolate,
not
architecture.
Gold, but architecture and chocolate, yeah. And other wonderful things.
Yeah.
Occasionally being invaded by Germany.
That's happened.
That's happened every now and then, a few other things. But by and large, Belgium, pretty groovy place. Yeah. Place I've always wanted to go.
Well, the way that I tend to choose places that I want to go is I draw sometimes. And the way that I look at it is I want to draw in this place. Like I literally just want to sit in a park in Belgium and draw.
I have a dream. Angie, since she was a little girl, her grandmother had a map and she would it wasn't a map, pardon me, it was a globe that she would play with. And on that globe, she found Luxembourg, the city of Luxembourg and the nation of Luxembourg. Her entire life, She has dreamed of going to Luxembourg. That is something I want to make happen as soon as possible.
That would be amazing.
Just go to Luxembourg. Don't have to go anywhere else in Europe, even though I really want to. But it had to be one place.
Specifically there.
Luxembourg.
That's awesome.
With her. I think that would be just about the best thing possible. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming on Pretty Day.
Thank you for having me.
If you have pretty good days you want to tell us about, give us a short account on mail@pocketsfullofsoup.com. Send it to mail@pocketsfullofsoup.com, and maybe we'll read it. Let us know if that's okay by you. And thank you so much for watching, listening, supporting the show. You can find Alanah all over the place. Once again, at the YouTubes.
At all of the social medias at Charalanazad. And
That's
I'm
right.
sorry that I took up 3 days.
And also, I don't mind at all. And also, your day job, you...
Oh, yeah, I work at IGN.
Yeah.
I'm on a couple of podcasts there, and I also do a lot of our toys, science, and cosplay coverage.
Science!
For
Science is
science.
fun. I love the
Science.
science. For science. So, folks, until next time, thank you again so much for being here, and have a pretty good day.